Today we're taking a look at the technology in the 2018 BMW 7 Series. Now we're in the 740e plug-in hybrid, but everything we're going to talk about today applies to the entire 7 Series lineup. And we've got a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. Now the main event is in the dashboard. It's BMW's iDrive version 6.0. We've seen this system in a variety of BMW vehicles up to this point, and it's pretty good. I'd actually say it's the best iDrive's ever been. The main menu is this sort of 6-tile interface, and it basically has all of the main headings for infotainment that you'll be using. Things like navigation, where you'll find your map, media and radio is where your audio sources are, and communications for hands-free calling. It's pretty simple to understand and not very easy to get lost here. I will say that I find that Audi's infotainment system is a little bit better organized, and as much as I hate to admit it, Mercedes-Benz's latest generation of Command has come a long way, and I think I actually prefer that a little bit better as far as being more fully featured. However, that's not to say this is a bad setup. Like I said, it's very easy to find what you're looking for, as long as you're looking for those main major things you use infotainment for. If you are looking for a more obscure feature, however, you'll find that the navigation system is a bit of a mess of menus, and it's really easy to kind of get lost just sort of diving through submenus looking for features. Now, if you happen to carry an Apple iPhone, you get access to Apple Carplay and wireless Apple Carplay. No cable required, and you get all of your navigation and apps right there on the screen. However, I would suggest that you maybe plug in on a longer trip if you don't want to kill your battery. Now, what separates the 7 Series from other versions of iDrive 6.0 and some of the smaller vehicles is the plethora of ways that you can interact with it. For starters, the screen is a touch screen, so you can reach up here and tap around to find information for things while you're parked. But most of the time, you're going to be using the physical iDrive controller down here on the center console. That's actually the only way to use it while you're driving, and it doesn't lock you out of any of the features, which is kind of cool. Now, the interesting thing about the iDrive controller is that it does have a touchpad on the top, so you can use that for entering alphanumerics with your fingertip while you're parked. So you just swipe on there. And you can write a destination right onto the thing. Now, if that's too slow for you, of course, you can use voice command. It has a very natural language voice command system. So you can just ask it, for example, to navigate to 1000 Van Ness, and it'll take you there without having to dive through a bunch of smaller submenus. Of course, the most interesting way to interact with iDrive in the 7 Series is going to be the gesture system. Now, if you've used Connect on an Xbox One, you probably know how gestures work. But if you've never used it, then doing something like wiggling your finger in front of the screen to adjust the volume can kind of feel like magic. You can also do things like swipe to dismiss an incoming call or throw 2 fingers up to skip to the next song. One of the coolest things you can do, check this out. When you're in reverse and you've got your 360 camera up, you can make like a circle with your hands and then move a 3D representation of the vehicle around so you can see what's happening around the vehicle. Really useful for squeezing into a tight spot or parallel parking. Of course, gestures are kind of gimmicky, and you probably will only use them a few times to impress people when you first give them a ride in your new 7 Series. The problem with gestures is that you can't really do everything with gestures, and you can't really tell what you can and can't do. So most of the time I end up defaulting to just physical controls for most things, which is fine because a physical controller is kind of the best way to interact with iDrive in most cases. Now, I like volume knobs. I'm a physical control purist, but what do you think? Are these gestures going to catch on, or is it kind of a gimmick? Let us know in the comments down below, and while you're there, give us a subscription and check out theroadshow.com for even more cool car tech videos.